Before the world starts spinning fast, I'll pause and take my stand. Coffee in hand, I lace up truth with heaven's battle plan. No fear, no doubt, I suit up strong, his armor fits just right. I'm walking tall, I'm prayed up now, I'm ready for the fight. Wrap me in truth, no lies allowed, I'll walk this road with my head unbowed. No fake disguise, no twisted word, just gospel truth, pure and undisturbed. Armor of God, my morning song is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on my ways, peace on my feet, victory is mine, I won't retreat. Guard my heart, Lord, keep it clean, your righteousness my daily sheen. No shame, no guilt, no hidden stain, I wear your grace like a holy chain. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on the ways, peace on my feet, victory is mine, I won't retreat. Blue slates tied with peace I bring, good news echoes when I sing. I step with calm through storm and flame, each stride I take I lift your name. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on my ways, peace on my feet, victory's mine, I won't retreat. Mind renewed, no fear inside, salvation's crown my holy guide. Thoughts aligned with heaven's view, I see the world through what is true. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on my ways, peace on my feet, victory's mine, I won't retreat. Word in hand, I speak with fire, sharper than steel, it lifts me high. No weapon formed can take me down. I fight with faith, I wear the crown. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on my ways, peace on my feet, victory's mine, I won't retreat. So here I stand, the day begun, armored up till setting sun. With every breath I walk his way, in truth and love I face the day.
Good morning. Hump day. Got a few things to talk about today. Kind of crazy stuff, if you will. I was going to save this one thing for last, but I'm gonna go ahead and play it first to get it out of the way. Let me explain what we're gonna see here. I just grabbed a short little clip from a video that I watched over on David Nino Rodriguez's channel last night. He had Bull Pony on. Very interesting show. But there was something in there that kind of disturbed me, and I'd like to kind of get your thoughts on this. So here, let me just cue it up, and Then we'll come back here.
And the point is, like I've said, it's going to take them 100 years to fix this problem. Unless.
At some point, the Band-Aid has got to be ripped off. It's just got, we've got to go for it. It's got to happen, like, I would say this year. It's got to be.
Absolutely. And then I want to touch base on a prophecy that just came out yesterday by Julie Green. And this has got everybody up in an uproar right now, okay? And we'll tap into this and how this plays in and with the presidency, because this is pretty crazy. This is a prophecy about a wolf that's in the White House.
Okay.
Wolf
in a wolf. Well, that would be okay. Surrounding. Trump? Surrounding.
Yeah. So here, have a listen, and I'm going to give you my understanding of this relative to prophecy and timelines. But pop this screen up and let's have a listen to this, because I'm telling you, and a lot of people on the inside are listening to these prophecies and these prophets, and this one shook everybody up.
Okay, let's hear it.
It is time for you to know who the great white wolf really is. It is time to expose, and it's time to stand and pray against him, and who he is working with, and what his assignments are to do against this country and against the president. Because so many people are living by sight and not living by faith. J.D. Vance is the great white wolf. The deep state put him next to President Trump because I was for President Trump not to make his full second term. And when he didn't, they would have their guy take his place. He's not a friend of my Davis. He is being used to spy and to sabotage the president, deceive him in every way possible. J.D. Vance's ties to this swamp will soon be revealed, and so will many next to your president. My children are president's inner circle, and people in high positions of your government must be exposed and revealed as treasonous traitors. Not all these attacks you can see, but soon everything that is hidden will be made known. The great white wolf and all of his pack must be removed to truly save this nation. The secret societies own and control most in your government, and ones you think are MAGA are not. It's time for their masks to be ripped off. It's time for this nation and the world to know who the traitors are. The architects in this nation, which are the secret societies, their money trails will lead right to politicians who have sold their soul to the enemy.
Wow. Okay. I listened to that quite a few times already. Morning, Molly. I'm trying to remember. It was probably about 4 months ago or so. I watched a video over on God in a Nutshell. And there was another woman, not the same woman, that was on there too, saying that in 2027 there was going to be a traitor in the White House that would be revealed in 2027. But I've heard of now this woman that made the prophecy. I'm going to talk about a couple of things with this. This woman that made the prophecy. There apparently she's made quite a few, and I honestly I don't know how accurate she is, because from the way I understand it biblically. This is really weird, man. It's like I'm having like the worst internet this morning. So this is crazy. Anyway, biblically speaking, there aren't supposed to be any more new prophets. There, it does state that in the end times that there will be people that you know, like the old men will dream dreams. The young men are going to, or actually I think it was the young men and young women will prophesize. I don't know. Maybe this is it, and maybe we are in the end times. I don't know. But it kind of, listening to that and hearing some things that I've heard from other people that are supposed prophets, their timelines don't quite match up, but they're all within 6 months of each other. But if you listen, if you go to that, that's as of right now, as of this recording, that's and you'll see the title. It talks about the white wolf in the White House. But that was, I think, streamed about 13 hours ago or so. Molly, tell me a little bit more about her. Is she pretty legit? Is she on track? So, let's go way back. Prior to Trump getting back into the presidency this time, when he picked his running mate, and they said it was J.D. Vance. Honestly, I didn't know a thing about this guy. It's like, where did he come from? There's a lot of information out there right now that he had changed his name. You know, he did military time and all that. He was a Marine, I guess. But he changed his name, and the excuses were that he was using mom's name or something. I don't know. I don't know all of it, but there's a lot of stuff out there concerning J.D. Vance. But I know the first time that I heard that J.D. Vance was going to be his running mate, I had like a chill run through me, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up. Now, I do have hair on my back of my neck, not so much on top of my head. Okay? But this this announcement of him being VP, I was thinking to myself, what is Trump doing now that he's going to bring another traitor into his midst as his vice president? Okay? Now, what concerns me even more with this is that there were other people out there talking about, I think his name is Stuart Swedlow. He's also been on Nino. He's been on other programs, and he's 2 out of 3 on predictions, or because he's, you know, from what he's being told. His last prediction was that January 15th, the Ukraine war would be over, but it's far from that. Other than that, the other things that he said that were, you know, pretty much important have pretty much come to pass. But Stuart Swedlow is one of probably 3 or 4 other people that are saying that Trump is not going to make it through into the second part of this presidency. Like somewhere around the midpoint, he's supposed to drop out due to health reasons. Let me give my take on that. I think that is bull. Okay, and the reason that I say that is because the left and a lot of people that we found out that are fake MAGA have been saying, you know, asking these questions about, oh, well, you know, it looks like Trump's wearing some kind of he's got a bag or something that he's doing some kind of dialysis, or that something isn't right with his health. And I know like CNN, MSNBC, all the mainstream media, Mockingbird media, were also putting that out, and they were also doing like close-up photos of his hand where there was some discoloration, maybe a bruise from where like maybe he might have had an IV or something like that. One thing I want to remind everybody, and this is very, 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 very important and crucial, is that the Donald J. Trump that we see pretty much every day on TV, in front of the podium, speaking at Davos, is not the real Donald John Trump. He's got 3, maybe 4 doubles. It depends on the situation that he's in. If it's like where somebody can, get a shot of him on video from further away, then they will use one of the doubles that doesn't look more like him. According to Rattletrap 1776, the real Donald Trump is the one that you see where he's in photo ops with people at Mar-a-Lago on the golf course. So the whole thing with Trump gonna drop out at the halfway point of this presidency, I don't think it's accurate. And if it does happen, then let me tell you this, then we're screwed, because ever since the first day that J.D. Vance was mentioned that he was going to be Trump's running mate for VP, like I said, I had that chill that went down my spine, the hair in the back of my neck raised up, and something didn't sit right with me. And I didn't even know the guy, okay? Didn't even know him. He just like come out of nowhere. And I know, I don't know if Patriot Roy D will be on this morning or not, but he and I have had conversations about this for quite some time. It was even when I was still up in Wisconsin, that was back around the time that J.D. Vance was even mentioned. And I even mentioned to Roy D that it didn't sit well with me. Something's up. So that's just I don't know if it's me using discernment or if it's like maybe the Holy Spirit telling me something, like be on alert, watch for this, watch anything having to do with that. And then the whole thing with Charlie Kirk, and then how close Erica and JD are, especially the big hug that we just recently saw at the last TPUSA event. And here she's a grieving mother. She's a devout Christian, and she's wearing black leather slut pants out on the stage. Erica Kirk, she don't sit right with me either. I hate to say it. But then again, too, I'm kind of in the same line of thought as there's a few other people out there that I won't mention too many names, but there are other people out there that are in the same frame of mind as me, that Charlie's not really dead, and this Valhalla place that Kash Patel mentioned is actually the place in New Zealand. That's yet to be seen. We'll find out future stuff. I don't think they're going to hide all of that from us when it's safe for some of these people to actually come back out again. So, I just have, I don't even know how to explain it. I can tell you that what I'm feeling right now is that 2026 is going to be a roller coaster ride. We are going to see a lot of stuff go down. I think that we're even going to start seeing some arrests. Now, as far as, let me, I saved some stuff in my bookmarks. I just want to read this real quick, and maybe this will help people understand. I just got to make sure that I'm not playing anything over the top. All right, so this here was put out by Clandestine, and I think it's not real long, and I think he puts it out there in a very understandable way. I could probably do this if on X, if I had the ability to write more than just like the minimum amount of characters. I canceled my premium account. So anyway, he says, you must understand these are not ordinary circumstances. Trump and his team not only have to do everything by the book, but they also have to win the court of public opinion. So what he means there is, not only do they have to have everything perfect in court, as we've already seen, a few judges have thrown things out basically saying that so-and-so didn't have standing to even represent. Okay? So the other part of that is the court of public opinion. So we have to have a majority, and it's not just the majority that Trump won the election. We're talking about the normies and even some of the people that are suffering from TDS. They have to see how bad things are going to get and how things just don't make sense before they start asking questions and before they start doing the same thing that a lot of us have been doing for years, understand what's happening and like start questioning, and even then maybe they'll start waking up. So he goes on, if we're going to arrest the traitors, the public must understand why before it happens. The public must be shown repeatedly until the reality registers and stays in their brains. Not once or twice. It has to be done over and over again to the point that they never forget it and have no doubt. It must be so convincing and so I had this word, control, basic, it has to be convincing that it awakens them from their deep slumber. I don't know why I'm having a problem talking this morning. I even feel like I have a slur. So decades of brainwashing cannot be undone overnight. It must be methodical and controlled. So on the bright side, this unbrainwashing operation has been underway for years, and we are closer to the end game than you think. There's a lot of people out there that probably wouldn't agree with that, but that's because they're not awake yet. Okay, so real quick, I'm just going to take a break. I want to just look and see. Molly's putting some stuff up. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of that blood delivery company that Peter Thiel owns or has part ownership in. So Molly also said they also say that JD would retire for family reasons. I haven't heard that. I do know that there was stuff put out there about JD's wife being totally anti-Trump before he was selected to be VP, but then all of a sudden JD's wife is 100% on board. Even JD Vance was anti-Trump even before. They found things, out there where he was, and this is before I even knew about him. They found things out there that he said that were derogatory towards Trump. So, anywho, I dove into this right away again this morning. So if you guys are getting anything out of this, give me a thumbs up. Share if you would. Comments down below help if you can throw anything in the comments. And then also, all of my sponsor links are in the description below the video. And if you want the PayPal link, it's also down there. And I also have a QR code. Where is it? This corner right up here. You can just scan that with your phone if you want to send me enough for a cup of coffee or something. I'm not monetized, so whatever you guys want to throw my way, I will graciously accept, and thank you wholeheartedly in advance. All right. Let me take a peek. I'm going to move on from that. I'm going to keep an eye on that stuff. I don't think Bull Polney has his own YouTube channel. I think he's got a website. But I'm going to keep an eye on what Bo's talking about. There's a lot of he talks a lot about like biblical prophecy stuff, but he proves certain prophecy in the mathematical scheme. Okay, so by the mathematics, and some of the stuff that he shows is actually pretty cool, but who knows if you can play a numbers game to make things look a certain way too. I don't jump on board with everybody or anybody, no matter what, but I do take their salient points, especially if there's a lot of them, and I will look into that and run with it if it looks good. So anyway, moving on. Let's see here. So we recently had we've got President Trump over at the World Economic Forum, and I'm just gonna go through just some of the posts that are coming from there, because what's pretty cool is President Trump is in a den of vipers. I think the only person that might be there from another country, well, maybe two, that even like President Trump is, I think his name is Viktor Orban. He's like the president or prime minister of Hungary. And then there is Georgia, was it Georgia Meloni? Is that how you say her name? From Italy. I think those are really the only two people. It's maybe it's not so much that they like him, but they actually give him respect. So, so apparently now here Trump just told a room full of elites. He said, because of my landslide election victory, the U.S. avoided the catastrophic energy collapse which befell every European nation that pursued the Green New Scam, perhaps the greatest hoax in history. So basically what he was talking about was a lot of European nations are using these big giant windmills, okay? And he said there are windmills all over Europe, and China makes almost all of them, yet China doesn't have any windmills themselves. They make a fortune selling them to a bunch of stupid people. And I don't know if the windmills that we have down here where I live in Texas, if those are also made in China, but they are god-awful ugly. When I drive by them, hardly any of them are even spinning. So I don't know. And so Trump went on to say, I want Europe to do great, and you're sitting on the biggest energy sources that a country loses. One thing I've noticed is that the more windmills a country has, the more money that country loses and the worse that country is doing. So he's telling them. And then he goes on to talk about basically slamming NATO, which he should be. And we're gonna get in. We're gonna talk about NATO. We're gonna talk about the whole Greenland thing, and I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm not gonna say when because I don't know when, but I have a feeling it's gonna happen. Probably by the, or somewhere in between now and the 4th of July. I'll just say that. So anyway, President Trump slams NATO for not being fair to America in Davos. There were quite a few countries that got up to the podium and they were slamming America and slamming Trump, basically saying that we aren't following through with our promises or anything like that. So anyway, Trump goes on to say the United States is treated very unfairly by NATO, and I want to tell you that when you think about it, nobody can dispute it. We give so much and we get so little in return, and I've been a critic of NATO for many years, and yet I've done more to help NATO than any other president by far, than any other person. You wouldn't have a NATO if I didn't get involved in my first term. Okay, so what he's saying there is 100% truth. He also, and I think the reason that these NATO countries are pissed off is because he basically put them into a position that if you want United States protection, then you got to start paying for it. I had a chart that I saved. I might have, I don't know. As I'm talking, I'll scroll through my my feed. Let's see here if I go through my feed. But anyway, talking about how much the United States pays compared to any other country that is in NATO. And there was a list, and I thought I might have reposted it, but then maybe again I didn't. I might even be able to find it if I do a search. I might find that graph I was looking for. Here we go. All right, so I'll bring up the picture in a minute. Let me just read this. So the United States spends $968 billion, which is more than all other NATO countries combined. At a basic level, alliances only function when risk, cost, and responsibility are shared. Otherwise, it stops being a mutual defense pact and starts looking like a subsidy. So I'm going to bring that photo up, and then I'm just going to go over here and share this with you guys so you can kind of see that. I hope it's big enough. We'll see. So, I mean, even China, as big as they aren't putting squat in there. What was it? No, I'm thinking of the UN. So what do we got here? We got France. I think we've got Germany. So you look at all these other little countries down there, and they don't even compare. I think one of the closest would be like Germany. Actually, Poland is doing $35 billion. Germany is $98 billion. Okay, so Germany is, if you look at the difference, $98 billion compared to, say, almost $970 billion. So the United States is doing way more for NATO than, in my opinion, than what NATO deserves right now. So on to my prediction. Because of what's going on with Greenland, and I think, let me explain this a little bit. I think what might end up happening is, because what I talked about this in a previous show. I think the world is going to be split into 3 different regions. So we're going to have the American region. We're going to have like a Russian region, and then we're going to have like a China region, and they're all going to be in charge of certain countries or whatever, but they're not going to rule over them. Okay, what they are going to do is manage them, basically like a manager. So the three big leaders are gonna basically be the presidents of those areas, but between the 3 of them, they're going to manage them in a way that hopefully they, and from what I'm seeing, by this time here, all the deep state's going to be rooted out, or at least the ones that matter, and that these countries will all be managed, their resources and everything, so that everybody that's in that region prospers. Okay, and then if anything breaks out, like that needs attention, like another country next to another country and they're rattling sabers, it'll be up to the main country. Say something happens between Italy and Germany, it would be up to Russia to go in there to say, hey, okay, and they may do it in a way of tariffs, or they may get a monetary spanking if they don't play nice and behave. I don't know exactly how it'll work out, but I see that happening. But I believe that in, I don't have my phone near me, Molly. Hold on a second. Nothing on that one. I have 2 phones. Yeah, I don't have any messages that came in yet, Molly. But anyway, I think we're going to be broken into 3 separate regions, and they will be managed by and it's not going to be one person. I think they will have they'll have kind of like their own little, I don't like to use the word United Nations, but they'll have like their own little council. Okay, but the way I understand it is that they're going to do this to benefit the whole world, not to take away anything or to put another country down. I think it's all going to be for good. But I think what's going to happen, and we'll see that this is going to go full steam ahead, is, and this is just my prediction, that it might happen before July 4th, the United States will pull Greenland in to become a state, or part of the United States, or part of the American region. And then shortly after that, we're going to leave NATO. I think NATO and the UN. See, the UN is going to happen a different way, and I'll explain that in a minute. But I think NATO is going to go away, because if the United States leaves NATO, the countries that are left there, they can't protect themselves, much less even group together to do anything to protect from Russia. But I guarantee you, Russia is not an aggressor, and they don't plan to be. Right now, I can tell you the EU and NATO are the ones that are building up forces right on Russia's border. If Canada and Mexico decided to put all their troops on our northern and southern borders, do you think we're gonna take that sitting down? No. Okay, so why would everybody expect Russia to do the same thing? All right, so yeah, NATO. I think NATO is going to go away because, number one, they can't support themselves. There is a lot of theft of money going on across Europe right now. Europe is very, very, very corrupt. I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 countries that aren't in on the take, so to speak, over there. And I think Ukraine is going to be outed big time here pretty soon. Not only, well, I'd say mainly by Trump, because I think Trump has pretty much cut Ukraine off and said, we're not giving you anymore. There's that, and that's why he said, if Europe wants to put money in to buy arms from the United States, that's fine, but we're not giving any money to Ukraine, because Ukraine and their corrupt people at the top, Zelensky included, are skimming money off the top, and they're not buying the military equipment that they need to fight this war. I'm going to give you a prime example. As I mentioned before, I follow a lot of Ukrainian channels on Telegram, and every single one of those channels, they have military people in there pleading with the civilians to donate small amounts of money so that their unit can buy a new vehicle that they need to either transport drones or transport wounded. Ukraine's not even supplying their own military with the equipment that they need to fight the war. They have to go to civilians to have vehicles donated, or where they can get donations to go buy vehicles. Okay, so I don't think you've ever seen United States military or any units that are stationed anywhere that are asking for donations so that they can buy a vehicle that they need to transport their wounded, or to transport drones or whatever that they need to the battlefield. Okay, the other thing that's happening, and I don't know if any of you are aware, in Ukraine right now, most of the people, right now, Kiev and Dnipro and one other big city that are not on the front, these are cities that are on the more center and western side of Ukraine. Most of these cities are on where they get electricity for like 4 hours a day, and then it's off. And I already have it under very good authority that the power in the last like probably 3 to 4 days now, they might get electricity for an hour, and then it's off again for 24 hours. Prior to last night, they were without power for 3 days where they live, because a substation got hit and they were doing repairs. They were able to reroute some electricity, but they only got it for an hour. So the other thing that we're finding out is that the electric company in Ukraine is selling electricity to other border countries. Moldova, probably some even going into Romania, Bulgaria, and maybe even Poland. I don't know if Poland, I don't think Poland's buying electricity from them. I don't know. But it's the same thing with the gas lines, the oil pipelines that are going through Ukraine. The Ukraine military, or maybe some rogue elements of the military, I would say it's probably Azov, were going and blowing up sections of pipelines so that like Hungary and Bulgaria couldn't get oil coming up through Ukraine. So there's a lot of really hinky stuff going on with Ukraine, where they're depriving their own people of electricity so they can sell it to another country. It's all about the money. Everything is about the money and corruption. All right. Enough on that. Let's see. Molly, I still haven't gotten any messages in. Let me just look in the message app itself. Yeah, I haven't gotten any messages. So I'm not sure what's happening. I don't know. All right. Let's see. I don't know if there's a whole lot more that I can talk about, pertaining to Davos. I know Trump, he's in a den of vipers, and he's not mincing words. He's going out there and he's telling them like it is. And we may, I think, even sooner, we might have a deal with Greenland. We already know that the people of Greenland want to be part of the United States, but it's the Denmark oligarchs that are basically controlling Denmark are the ones that said no. All right. I just want to go through my notes here before I move on. I wanted to talk about all right, so the corruption in Minnesota. We know how absolutely big that is. But we also know and have been told by multiple sources that is just the tip of the iceberg. And if you know anything about icebergs, the little part is what you see above water. It's the big part that's underneath. So we already suspect that California is going to dwarf what Minneapolis is doing. And Minneapolis, they've talked that it's been in excess of $9 billion. Molly, what is the last four of the number that you sent it to? Because I'm not getting any message notifications. It's either going to be 3070 or 6211. Do you have either of those? So I want to show you another place now where the corruption is going to be even bigger. Let me get this. I'm going to bring this up on the screen and make it big. Start it over.
Is anything big? We get the third of everything.
Can't hear it. Just read the caption.
What happens?
A third of everything you make is mine.
So you tell the vet, hey, whatever I get you, give me a little something back.
No, third.
A third.
If you get $10,000, third is mine. If I can get to the judge, that's the only person you want that is the judge.
Wait, say that again.
If I can get through the judge, it's okay. Sometimes you see some people
So they'll pay
in
you.
some places, drink some big places where you don't even drink alcohol, where you're going to some big places.
Right.
The big boys sit down and drink. You visit those places.
Right.
Make a conversation with him.
Yeah.
You see. Yeah, this boy there. And that day, you work that day? He said, yeah. He said, okay. $50,000. You send everybody to see all these names.
Yeah.
I have them in my book. Okay? I go to the bar like everybody should. Spot the judge.
Okay, so what we're seeing here is another operation by some scam artists, and we all know that we have a lot of corrupt judges. Okay, so this woman here, her name is Patricia Golder, and she's in Ohio. And she's bragging about how she's making these $50,000 bribes to Ohio judges to fast track asylum for migrants. All right. So basically, this is kind of like an undercover footage, like you would see with, what the heck? I'm just thinking of, now it just escapes me. But anyway, undercover stuff. And so she's actually turned this whole thing into a process of her own of her business. So she does this as a business now, where she goes to places where these judges hang out, where they drink. And then she'll get to talking to them, get them some alcohol, and start making some deals with them. So anyway, this undercover reporter is introduced to Golder by one of Golder's friends, identified as Cindy Race, who says Golder helps Mauritanian migrants get their papers. Golder explains her business model, taking a cut of migrants' earnings. So when the migrants actually get here and they get money from either Social Security or SNAP, any kind of government assistance, or even if they get a job and they work, she gets 1/3 of everything they make. So if they're not doing a job and they're getting everything off the government dole, Golder takes 1/3 of what they get. Okay, so she where it says coaching on fabricating asylum claims, you have to make the story to meet the legal threshold. Golder discusses tailoring narratives such as persecution claims to increase approval chances, which could involve fraud. She says she has access to judges. She goes out to where they hang out and drink, and Golder brags about direct access to immigration judges who are willing to bend the rules without fear. So explicit bribery of judges, and she's like, okay, 50,000, I send everybody to you, 50,000 going to split between people. Golder describes approaching a judge offering a $50,000 split among parties to route cases for guaranteed approvals. They discuss fast-tracking work permits, Social Security cards, and driver's license after payoffs, implying rigged timelines. These segments are the most alarming as they directly allege felony-level activities like bribery, which fall under 18 U.S.C. Series 201, immigration, fraud, and exploitation. So this is just one that just came out. And if you all remember how it started coming out with Minnesota, with Minneapolis, first off of like the daycares. Okay, so it's like one thing, and then it was out there, And then over the next few days, more and more of these started popping up. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing things like that happen. Yeah, I don't have a phone number ending in 6288. Here, Molly, give me 1 second. I'm going to see if it will let me send you a text message real quick. So give me just a moment, folks. She's trying to get me some information, and give me just a moment. All right, Molly, I just sent you a text message. Let me know if you got it. I'll watch the chat. So we're going to start seeing cases of fraud, rampant fraud, popping up all over the United States. And I guarantee it's going to be, the majority of it is going to be in the mainly blue states or swing states. And if we look at the magnitude, okay, think of this. Just think of where this could be. We have $9 billion in fraud that they know of so far, just out of Minneapolis and possibly maybe St. Paul, but we'll say Minnesota. $9 billion in Minnesota. So if that is just the tip of the iceberg, in California is going to be in the tens of hundreds of times worse. And then we have places like Ohio, in some of these Democrat-run cities. We're going to start probably seeing it coming out of Texas. We're going to start seeing probably like Atlanta, Georgia, certain places in South Carolina. We're going to start seeing stuff pop up. I mean, anywhere election fraud happened, we're probably going to see all this stuff happening. Okay. All right, so I'll wait for that link for that article, Molly. So you did get my message. That's good. Yeah, you just use that number going forward. That's probably the best contact for me. All right. Let me see if I think I'm getting pretty close to the end of the things that I wanted to talk about. But I want to circle back, okay, to what we talked about at the very beginning. Because this is going to tie into the next thing that I want to talk about. What do you all think about what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are doing, and what the kind of job that they're doing right now? I can say that there are things that are being done. We're getting reports of this and that and this and that. Most importantly, I think, is the child rescues and the child trafficking being stopped. And like I mentioned earlier with the clandestine post about, hey, we have to make sure that we're rock solid in court. Okay. So, but what I want to do is I want to talk about Pam Bondi a little bit. And this circles back to the stuff that we were talking about with J.D. Vance. Okay, so Pam Bondi has been in her seat as the United States Attorney General for 1 year, and she's just starting her 1 year and first day. And people are expecting big arrests to be happening. Why do people think that this incredible mess that we're in, we're basically in slavery. We've been in slavery. We've never been out of slavery. We were given the we were made to believe that we were free people here in the United States, but we haven't been. We have not been. Okay. So, thinking about this mess that we're in, and that where people think that 250 years of bondage, and even prior to that, before we even came to America, well, we came to America around 1607 in the first place to get away from all that. But to think that we can undo all of that in a year, I mean, we can't even count Trump's first 4 years. He did a lot. But as we know, he was hindered every time he turned around. Same thing is happening now, especially with the court systems. If we didn't have all these corrupt judges in place, I think a lot more would be going on. So I think what's probably going on right now behind the scenes is they're rooting out and finding out who all the bad judges are, and they're bringing cases up on them. I think we're going to see mass indictments, mass unsealings of indictments going forward. I mean, President Trump and a lot of people, not just Trump, but based off of what Trump is saying, July 4th is going to be like the best and basically the beginning of the golden years of the United States. I think we're still in for a lot of tribulation. We're in for a lot between now and then and even after. I think a lot of this stuff isn't even going to get rooted out for at least another 5 to 10 years. There's a lot that's got to be done. But I think, and I'm being patient. I've been in this from the very beginning, even beforehand. Way before, but I'm patient, but it would be really nice, I'm going to admit, it would be really nice to see some big major arrests. I mean, especially, look at what they did to Steve Bannon and Trump's, Peter Navarro, I don't know, was he chief of staff or he was like one of the admin people for Trump. But they were subpoenaed to appear in front of Congress to testify, and they said, no, we're not going to, because, that what we're going here, it was basically going to be run by the Democrats. They had a Democrat chairperson. It was going to be nothing but a big show. Nothing was going to happen. And they both said, no, we're not going to go. So they ended up going to jail. They both spent time in jail. All right, so same thing now, Bill and Hillary Clinton, it's been put off, and then finally when the final day came, the Clintons decided, yeah, we're not going to go, and they put a statement out there basically saying, F you, we're above the law, you can't touch us. I think that, to be honest with you, I think that was for show, because I think Bill and Hillary have already been dispatched. They're no longer of this world. So, that'll be hopefully revealed soon. I don't know. I hope. But basically what that did is really set off a bunch of people. And remember what I was talking about, that people have to see certain things over and over again before they finally realize and start taking it to heart and storing it up on the back shelf in their brain that something's not right here. I sent you a text message, Molly. You should have gotten it. I mean, let me just look here. Are your last 3 715? Because maybe I don't have the right number for you. Anyway, so people are going to see people like Bill and Hillary don't show up for a deposition when they're subpoenaed to be there, and they defy that. We are seeing corrupt judges letting criminals go and letting them back out on the street after murdering people, after violent crime multiple times. We're already seeing these corrupt judges opting to take the side of an illegal immigrant that has actually broken the law. And this we had one, for example, that was due to be set out of the country. I think they left, and then they ended up having to bring them back because a judge ordered that they needed to come back because there was some new stuff for court, which is bull crap. This guy is now walking the streets free in New York. And then we're going to start seeing, speaking of New York, we're going to start seeing things pop off there. And we're going to start seeing that the patriotic New Yorkers that have been complacent all these years and only care about the New York Giants, the New York Jets, the Mets, and whatever, what their favorite sports team. And they're going to start feeling the brunt. They're going to see what's going on. Some of them might be affected personally because someone that they loved has been hurt or maybe even killed. They're going to start seeing it come on out of their pocketbooks because what's Mamdani saying? They're going to tax the rich. Well, who's the rich? Probably anybody that makes $100,000 or more a year. I mean, that would be probably their view of somebody being rich. So people, and this is the honest to God's truth, bad things don't affect people unless it directly affects them. Okay? So you live in New York, you're walking down the street, you're going from Macy's to the next big department store, and you see some thugs walking down the street. You go to the side, and there's another woman that's coming up. She's alongside you, walking along. The thugs get her. They grab her purse and stab her and leave her laying there on the sidewalk bleeding and run off with her purse. And you keep walking because you don't want to get involved. That's the way that a lot of New Yorkers, I hate to say it, in New York City, they don't want to get involved. They see it happen. They just pop their head back in their window of their apartment building and they close the window and pretend it didn't happen. That happens all over the place. Because people like being in their status quo and they don't want anything to mess with their way of life. And then the next time they're walking down the street with their bags of all the rich, expensive stuff they got from Macy's and socks and wherever they went, and then their stuff is getting stolen. They get assaulted. Maybe they don't get stabbed and left bleeding, but they get left beaten. And then they want somebody to take action to help them. So what was that old adage? If not me, then who? If you're the last one left, there's nobody there that's going to help you. Okay. I think I've gone long enough. I got to go out of town today, so I got to get ready. I will be back again Friday morning for morning coffee, and then I'll be here Saturday on the other channel for Supernatural Crossfire. And when I figured out when I'm, just real quick, when I'm doing the live stream on this YouTube channel, I am not live streaming over to BitChute, because after this stream ends and it's actually posted to YouTube, it'll automatically get sent over to BitChute and go in automatically. So if I were to be live streaming there, we'd have a duplicate, and basically what it does is it splits the views and doesn't work right. I saw that I did that again Monday. So the only time that I will also stream to BitChute is when I'm doing the Saturday Supernatural Crossfire. So I hope some of what I said today sinks in and makes sense to you. A lot of what I talked about today was hypocrisy on people that don't want to get involved. So they have to see things over and over and over again before it finally makes sense and before they will finally stand up and take action. Maybe even some of the bad people out there might go like, "Oh my God, this is what they had me doing." I mean, $9 billion, Minneapolis. All that money did not go into the pockets of the Somalis. Yeah, they did get money, but that's still what they still got from their SNAP benefits and their Social Security and whatnot. They did get a portion of that, but the rest of it went over and is funding Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda. So when that cell becomes activated in your city, and then you're going to be screaming for help, what did you do beforehand? Did you try to tell anybody, hey, this is what's going on? Did you warn anybody? Or did you pull your head back in the window, close the window, and tell yourself, I'm not going to get involved? All right, everybody. I'm going to go. Be safe out there. Head on a swivel. Doesn't matter if you live in the big city, the suburbs, or the boontoolies like me. These times you need to be packing. And if you're not packing, be with somebody who is. Wear that armor of God, people. Be safe. God bless every single one of you out there on the other side of this screen. Love y'all. Peace out.
When morning breaks, they pass the page. Their words a trap, a scripted stage. Each line they write with practiced art to tear your truth and world apart. From hidden rooms where plans are laid, they craft each storm and false parade. The poison seeps through even news, while puppet masters light the fuse. Hollywood's tricks still rule the trade. Each fear and wish precisely made. They sell you pain in pretty shows while programming which way it flows. Your blood runs hot, your thoughts run cold. The stories break and ratings fold. They split the world in black and white while freedom fades into the night. Stand up, fight back, reclaim your sight. Don't let them dim your inner light. Break every chain they've wrapped around. Your spirit won't stay underground. This war of minds, this battle cry will shake their towers from the sky. Every screen and printed sheet, the same old lies they still repeat. Their mockingbirds sing false refrains while legions pull the mental chains. We dance their steps from sun to moon, all marching to their twisted tune. But truth breaks through like morning rays when questions pierce their practiced haze. They track each step and thought you make, each choice you think you freely take. But power shifts when eyes grow clear and manufactured lies appear. So drop the script upon the ground, let freedom's voice ring true and sound. Your story's yours to write anew, with every word authentic, true. Stand tall, break free, reclaim your sight. Don't let them steal your sacred light. Tear down the walls they built around. Your spirit rises, freedom bound. This war of minds, this battle cry will bring